Hey, all you dreamers, welcome. I'm going to be in conversation today with author Naz Ashun, and we're going to be talking about power animals and dreams. She's a very talented and very connected healing woman who's very connected to the animal realms as well. So we'll be talking about that too. So I'll just wait for Naz to come in and join in on the conversation. Would love to hear as well from you, so feel free to leave comments in the chat. We'll be talking about all things animal kingdom today, so pulling in also conscious dreaming when it comes to the natural world. So I know many of us dream about animals, and some of us have dream signs or really personal symbols to us that involve animals. So it could possibly be like a recurring dream sign or a symbolic archetype that is from the animal kingdom. So I know for myself, I've had recurring themes of animals coming up into my dream realms. And it'll be a really interesting thing to hear about Naz and her experiences too. So let's bring in Naz now. And we'll just have her join in on the conversation. Really excited about her new book coming out as well, which is going to be cool to read. Well, I've read it. I've had a preview reading of it, which is very, very lucky. Hey, Naz.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi, Tree. Great to be with you. Hi, everyone.
Hey, fantastic to have you. And I've been really looking forward to this conversation too, because I really feel as though as humans, we become so disconnected from the natural world that talking about the natural world and animals and being closer to them and our relationship with them as, you know, fellow sentient beings on this planet is more important than ever, because we've lost such a connection because of the modern industrial complex, and we've become really advanced in technology. This has somehow alienated us in a way from the animal kingdom. So great to have you here to chat about these things and how animals can really play a part in our dreams as well. But let's talk a little bit about what's coming up first, because you're an author and you've just finished writing your first book, which I've read, which is fantastic, by the way. I love the section on connecting to your animal guides and dreams. And so, yeah, so how did it all start for you when it came to writing the book and also your work, your healing work with animals too?
Oh, wow. It all started in 2012 after I had this most magical encounter with a robin, and it was one of the lowest points of my life. Um, I started to open up to the non-physical world, but in my physical life, I there was something, I was just at a very low point. And so I remember one Sunday evening, I called a friend who was a druid. And I was feeling so low. I was thinking, oh my God, it's Monday morning. And I felt like I had the weight of the world on my shoulders. I didn't actually, but that's how I felt. Um, and she suggested something. She said, Naz, the next day when you go to work, I want you to slow down because your universe is talking to you and you are just not tuning in. Um, I want you to slow down because and ask the universe to send you a message from an animal. And I just like thought, oh, come on, this is just a bit crazy. Animals, seriously. Um, but of course, I'd started to see things that could not be possible, and I thought, well, what have I got to lose? And uh, and so the next day, I was there on my way to work on a motorway or highway, wherever you are in the world, guys. And I was thinking, right, okay, I'm going to look everywhere. I was driving at 50 miles an hour. I didn't see a thing. I didn't see anything. Not a gnat, not anything that was alive or dead that you usually see on the side of the road. There was nothing. And so I felt like a fool as I drove into work. And I just sat there and just thought, you idiot. And as that thought crystallized, seriously, out of nowhere, this robin literally flew and landed on my wing mirror. And it's just like, whoa. And so I was there for 5 minutes. We were just communicating. And I could feel this hope, this possibility, new opportunities, looking at life from a different perspective, just coming from the tiniest of creatures. And it shifted my life and it shifted my perspective. And that's where my relationship, I mean, I've always loved animals, but this is where my relationship with animals and the communicating with them in a different way happened for me. And yeah, the rest is history, as they say.
So I love it too. I love how you're like, so I just was feeling bad, so I decided to call my druid friend, as you do. I love it. I want some druid friends. Just I'm gonna call a druid, and it's so good.
Say, hey, what is going on?
We all need a druid friend, and we all need a little robin friend as well. But that's
Well, look, Arthur had Merlin, okay?
that's really good, and I love I just love how with moments like that, it can really shift your reality when you're just sitting there, in awe. Isn't it amazing how in awe we get of animals too, when they come into our life or into a scene in the most unusual way? We do pay attention. Often, when you're just walking through the forest and a deer comes and crosses your path, it's like, oh, we get so wow or in awe. I mean, you could see countless YouTube videos of people filming bears or filming like being followed by a mountain lion, and there's this interesting, like, we're in awe when it actually happens. It's almost as though we've been so disconnected that when it does happen, we're actually in awe. It's just a reminder.
I really feel that because it's a reminder that we are part of this planet. We are interconnected. We are part of this interconnected web. We seem to have escaped with the unfortunate intelligence. And I say unfortunate intelligence because it is our intelligence and our mind that has created, don't get me wrong, some amazing technological, devices. We couldn't be communicating. But also within that intelligence, it's removed us from, being part of this planet, being part of we are part of the soul of this planet. And that includes our connection to nature and the animals. And we have removed ourselves, which is where we find ourselves with climate change and the environment and what is happening in our world today. But we haven't forgotten it. It lives within our DNA. It's there. And so, like you say, when we see an animal in the wild, the awe, the magic, the remembering that we are part of this, begins to wake up within us.
Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about animals showing up in dreams, because sometimes that can have such a huge and profound experience for people, where even if it's just a seemingly normal dream or a lucid dream where an animal shows up and it feels like this profound connection. And sometimes in the dream state, it feels more of a profound connection of consciousness as well, or like there's a telepathy or communication with the animal. Have you had any experiences like this through the dreams?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I've had, plenty of experiences. I think one of my most memorable experience, one of my recent experiences, I had two recent experiences. One I had where I dreamt of wasps, and they were huge wasps, but they weren't surrounding me, they were surrounding my husband. And that was because I woke up in the morning and I looked at him and I said, "Are you irritated?" And he said, "Yeah." And and it was like, and I knew it from the dream. I could feel it, but I could also feel there were people possibly getting at him as well. So that was really quite powerful when these wasps came and showed me. And then a more recent one as well has been an old house, and there were these pigeons coming from the loft. They were coming from the loft, and it's really interesting because a week later I ended up having to go into the loft of my parents' old house with lots of memories. So yeah, I've had plenty of them, and I think the one that stays with me, and it is a recurring dream,
Mm.
is, and it's a lucid dream because I'm alive, I'm real, I know it's a dream, and I have a snake wrapped round my right hand, and it sinks its fangs into me, and I feel the poison, which I share in the book. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So,
powerful. So that's a recurring one. And usually with recurring dreams too, it's like a poke or a nod from the universe to really pay attention to that, or from your subconscious realms to really like look at that. The snake is trying to get your attention in some kind of way. So what have you learned from the serpent coming through in your lucid dreams in a recurring way?
well, with the serpent, it's about transmuting and transmutation, and it's transmuting because the venom of a snake carries the antidote. And so I have to transmute the poison in my hand. And that poison is actually from within. You know, the snake invites me to be myself, to be honest, to be true to myself, to share my truth, and not to be this watered down version of myself, but to be authentic. And so that happens when I begin to contract and think I should be this way or that way. And it's such a lovely reminder because, you know, we're all programmed, we've all been programmed into something that isn't all of us, you know, but to you know, society has programmed us, so we become very removed from ourselves.
Hmm.
Um, and what I love about the snake is you know, it's about that awakening from within.
Yeah. And so transformative. And it's funny that you said snake because I'm wearing the power animal. I'm wearing serpent today.
Oh, well, isn't that cool?
And the reason why I did this was whenever animals come through to me in the dream state, I like to try to bridge over the symbology into my waking life. So recently, in recent like 18 months, I've had a lot of serpent coming through to me in the dream state. So that's why I've decided to get this piece of jewelry. It reminds me of the transformation, and very much like you, sometimes the serpent comes out and it's like a bit alarming, and it's like, oh no, but I've learned in lucid dream states to just be like, okay, what do you want to show me? And let's talk here. You got my attention now. And sometimes I feel like the animals in the dream state will get your attention through charging at you or jumping out at you. And I'm seeing it now more like they do that to get your attention and it's not to necessarily harm you. I feel like, okay, cool, let's talk now because I'm definitely attention. And so, yeah,
Yeah.
I decided to use that as a symbol. But when I was writing my first book, I was getting a lot of recurring dreams. And just before writing the book, I was getting a lot of recurring dreams of spiders and spiders everywhere. And I was just like, what is going on with all the spiders? And this is before I started to do a lot of work with animal archetypes and animal as guides and animal totems. And I remember posting something up on my Instagram, and Charlie Morley, who's a lucid dreaming teacher as well, he responded to my post saying, "Oh, you should really check out the Toltec work of the Mexican Toltecs and how they work with animals." And so I checked it out. There's another dreaming guide called Sergio Managna, and he's very into the animal power animals and animal totems and how to work with them. So being given Charlie's advice, I started looking into the spider dreams in a very different light as Spider as my teacher. And I looked through lots of different views of Spider and the shamanic views of Spider and it being a medicine. And there was huge messages about creativity, writing, creating a web of ideas through writing and creativity. There were feminine archetypes there too. It was like the mother. The spider had very big links with creation and feminine archetypes as well. And so, based on that, I started working on my book in a different way. I mapped out my brain map on the wall like a big spider web. So I started to really just go, I'm taking this seriously, spiders, because you keep showing up in the dreams. And it really helped me with writing the book, with working uh, with the spider through the dream state and bridging over all the lessons and the guidance into my waking state. So they can be such great guides in terms of improving your waking life in some kind of way. But it's not just in the dreams that you can work with animals. Obviously, Naz, you work with animal magic, animal work in the waking time. So when animals synchronistically come into your life, or they show up in your backyard, or if you can.
Totally, yeah. I mean, just wanted to say something else about the spider because what I'm getting with the spider is also number eight. Eight is abundance, eight is infinity. And you have this infinite creativity within you. And so, the spider is also a friend to writers and artists. But all of us, we're all creative beings, and really it calls to the creatrix within you.
Mm.
And that's the beauty about spiders. But yeah, working with them in waking life, you don't just have to see them in dreams. It's paying attention. And part of it is we move through our world so quickly, super quick, that we miss the messages. And for me, the universe is continuously communicating with you. And what I love is the way the universe communicates via animals. You know, you can see them anywhere, in images, programs, um, stories, just paying attention. Um, I recall a time when I kept on seeing swans, images of swans, the word swans. I'd see a swan if we passed a river, but they continuously showed it on somebody's shopping bag. Somebody would talk about a swan. So really, you can work with them, but you have to pay attention in the waking life, and part of it is exploring them on a physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual level. You have all these different levels in which to explore these wonderful teachers who have wonderful resources. You don't see them worrying, or thinking or worrying about the future. They live consistently within the present because that to them is the only reality. And so I think we have a lot to learn from them because the past has gone, the future isn't here, and our power is in the present.
That's beautiful. And could you give us some tips or techniques on how we could connect more with animals on an emotional, spiritual level as guides in our waking times, and how we can be more sensitive to their messages?
So, whoever, guys, if you're listening to this, you're probably already drawn to a specific animal. And I would always start to what you are drawn to, um, and begin to explore them, watch programs about them, read about them. How do they operate in the wild? How do they survive? How do they find, what are their natural resources? Um, and then, on an emotional level, when you think about them, really feel about how do they make you feel? When I think of a dolphin, for example, I instantly have this sense of joy and playfulness and fun. Yet, when I think perhaps of a wolf that comes to mind, it's very much about instinct, um, and also about teaching, but it's also about the pack and this telepathic communication that they have between them. Um, so on an emotional level, really begin to explore how you connect with them emotionally. What do they make you feel? And no two people will think of an animal in exactly the same way. Now, in my book, I talk about the some of the messages that that you'll find some messages there that I've written about the animals. But I want to say it's a start. It isn't the be all and end all, because your relationship with the power animal or specific animal might be very different to my relationship with them. And that's the thing that I want to share. This is about building a relationship, and that takes time, um, and consistency. I think consistency is the key. So you can find out about them on a mental level, you can connect with them emotionally, you can draw an image with them. So really, if you want to draw a picture about them or write a story about them or write a poem or a song, you really begin to tap into that animal's energy. And you can also dance and move like one, really begin to embody their energy, because the animals are our guides. They're here to teach us. They're also natural healers, but they're here to teach us about ourselves and our abilities and our brilliance and our capability to um, manage the challenges in our life. And it's not to say that those challenges aren't there, but it is to say that you can handle, you have the answers. But sometimes, depending on how we might feel, we might not have them immediately. We may have to reach a little bit. But for me, that's the beauty of the power animals. They're here to teach us about ourselves, and the amazing, incredible beings that we are, and how we can call on their assistance to weave our own webs, if you like, out of a situation.
Yeah, exactly. And I love what you said about we all can approach different animals in different ways, so that animals can mean one thing to one person and another to another person. Also, there's cultural differences as well. So different cultures
Yes.
see animals in different ways. For example, the cow is very sacred in the East, whereas in the
Yeah.
West, we just want hamburgers made out of the cow. So there's a totally different approach. But it makes me think a lot about societal conditioning and how we are conditioned to have a certain view towards nature and animals that is perhaps prejudiced in some kind of way. For example, since we're young children, we're taught that wolves are evil, with the big bad wolf and the little Red Riding Hood, and all the villains are all wolves, or so, you know what I'm saying? That they're scary.
You got the snake in the Garden of Eden, for goodness sakes, you
Yeah,
know.
this in the Garden of Eden, it's evil, it's connected to, the underworld. And so we grow up with these tropes and this societal conditioning, and think of certain animals in certain ways, where certain animals, we see fear, or we see that's evil or bad. And so how can we start deconditioning ourselves from societal tropes that keep us separated from animals, and also keep us sort of like prejudiced again? It's almost like a form of prejudice towards animals. Also, sometimes we project things onto animals as well. So how would you recommend that we start to decondition from some of the brainwashing?
I think the important thing is we are judgmental. We are judgmental by nature, and some of those judgments are life and death judgments. I mean, you know that you wouldn't walk at the edge of a cliff, for example. You have to make a sound judgment. Yet there are other judgments based on our programming, on our prejudices, and all of us have them. If you're going to try and get rid of that prejudice, I don't think you can. What you can do is bring awareness. And by that, I mean all of that stuff is hardwired into our minds. Our minds have been programmed. Yet with awareness, if we can become aware that we do these things and not judge them, that's when you set yourself free. But if you judge your judgments as bad, they're going to stick around for even longer. So it's bringing that level of awareness. It's like, oh, hi, yeah, my brain has been programmed and socialized in this particular way, and I have this prejudice. But actually, I am not my brain, and I am not my programming, and I am not my thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah,
And it's
exactly.
just having that awareness that, yeah, that our idea about animals, we've forgotten so much, and we have grown up with a fear. Um, and I love what you say about different cultures. So, for example, there are cultures like in the Congo, the belief that if you eat a gorilla, you will gain the gorilla's strength. That doesn't happen in Uganda, but different cultures in different areas of our world, we have certain beliefs. And as you say, the cow is sacred in India, but hey, makes a great hamburger. Oh, and by the way, I was about to say, if you think that power animals means you have to be a vegetarian or vegan, that's not necessarily the case as well. Because I know a lot of people, we are part of nature. It is about balance, and the animals know how to live in balance. We as humans have forgotten how, hence our overconsumption of everything.
Mhm.
Um, but coming back to programming, just be aware that you have it. Simple as, and um, once you're aware and don't judge it, it opens up a new possibility.
Oh, totally. And I'll give an example too of programming from my own experience. Well, this is more to do with trauma. I've been bit a few times by dogs when I was growing up, like very, small kid, and it developed a fear of dogs, as it would do. And so, I've got several bite marks on me, and my war scars, my war wounds. And so I grew up with a real fear of dogs and feeling very uncomfortable with them, and it escalated so much in my mind that I literally couldn't go over to a person's house if they owned a dog. It didn't even matter if it was a little dog or a big dog, because I've been bit by all types. So I almost came into this real irrational fear where I couldn't even do certain things. I couldn't go on for walks in nature with my partner or go through the like forests and stuff, because people would be walking their dogs and I'd be just like frozen and like fearful. And of course, when you're like that, the dogs get a little bit more anxious. And so it got to the point where it got so bad, and I would lament it because I was like, maybe I should go for hypnosis. What should I do? And I had a friend, my friend Hamish. He's always had boxers, dogs, and he's had one at the time called Bastard. And Bastard was a boxer that would wore like a big, huge leather collar with spikes and everything. So, and
Yeah,
he was like, you know what? My dog Bastard is the sweetest dog ever. I really think that my dog can heal you of your fear of dogs. I was like, what? He's like, no, seriously, just come over, get to know him. Um, I'll introduce you to him, and just hang out with my dog. And I said, you know what? I'm so desperate at this point. I just want to get over the fear of dogs. Yes, I will
yeah.
do this. And you know what I did? I went over, met Bastard for the first time, just like, oh, holding my breath, just like, okay, the dog's just jumping up. And I'm like, chill, just let the dog get to know you. And I developed such a good friendship with Bastard, the boxer. And you know what? The dog healed my fear of dogs. Absolutely incredible that that it happened. So just by developing a relationship with him, I was able to realize like, no, not all dogs are going to try to kill me or bite me, and it's great. Oh, and you know what? Bastard died like 5 months ago. Oh, and
Oh,
when we were doing tributes, I said, this is the dog that healed me of my fear of dogs. So there is something to be said that, we can change our hardwiring or our trauma around animals or our judgments or bias through just, practical like application and
yeah. I love what you said about relationship because everything is about relationship. Our whole lives are about relationship, and the relationship you have with your environment is so important. So as you were saying, the relationship, you have to build a relationship with an animal, um, and that's just the most beautiful form of healing, and such a lovely um, story as well. And, yeah, dreams and oracles, we have to want to. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's your willingness to take a chance, your willingness to be open to a relationship, your willingness to step outside of what you know in your head, because of course your body has recorded trauma. It lives in your cells, the trauma. So is it your willingness to step outside of what your body has recorded, what you know, into the unknown? And if you're willing to do that, then magic can happen in any area of your life, but
Yes.
certainly with animals. Yeah.
Yeah, and a really good thing too. I was trying to do dream work around dogs as well, the fear of dogs, because I was obviously having recurring dreams of being attacked by dogs, packs of dogs, or and just really locked on, and and I would wake up and go, I know why I'm having this, obviously, because I've been bit many times growing up by dogs. So I understood where that was coming from, but it was something that I tried to overcome in lucid dreams as well, but it was really ingrained in there. But it took a relationship, friendship with a big, scary looking dog called Bastard, who was actually really sweet to heal me. So I just love bridging things over too, from the unconscious realms into dreams, into our waking reality. It can be really transformative. Look,
Absolutely. We've just got to be, I know, I'm just putting my glasses on,
oh
folks.
yeah, we have some
Do
questions.
we do? Right. Okay. What do we got? Smith and Son. Do we bring animals into our dreams for simplicity? Is it our subconscious really trying to put a message into a bold symbol with little baggage? Ooh,
Yeah, so I guess like animals as archetypes that might be symbolic, and I mean, I guess you can approach it from 2 points, right? You could either look at it as a symbolism, what does a wolf mean to you, or we could also approach it from a more spiritual perspective of the sentient being as guide coming to give us messages. What are your thoughts on that, Naz?
for me, very much. I see, for me, you have both aspects because whether it's you have a guide coming in to bring you a message, I truly believe that that's what our animal dreams are all about. They're here to show us, to guide us, to give us a possible answer or solution. Very much like the message I had about the wasps around my husband, um, or the snake dream. They're here to teach us. And, yes, sometimes our minds will go to an animal to form symbols because the mind is an amazing thing. But I think you can take that deeper because even as a symbol, it's a symbol for you to connect with that, the animal guide that is within the world of spirit, as I call it, and the
Yeah.
unconscious world.
So it's
Yeah.
multi-layered, and there's also something interesting that I love working with in the animal world, especially through dreams, is building a personal mythology. So sometimes these symbols of, if the wolf is always coming to you in dreams, or spiders always, or a serpent, snake is always coming in dreams, is to start using the animal itself as part of your own journey, as a symbol, as part of your own mythology moving forward. Is there any examples that you could give our listeners, Naz, of how you can cultivate animal guides as part of your mythology moving forward?
Yeah, for me, this is about using your own, creating your own story,
Mm.
your own power animal story, almost like keeping a grimoire, if you like, and you can keep it in there and use that not only for your dreams if they come to you in dreams, but your waking life as well. It's a really powerful way to connect with that energy. You will find inspiration will drop in at certain points. So I would really, yeah, create almost like a grimoire of that particular animal within a journal or within painting, whatever works for you. I know you talk about dream journals, Tree, about you can create a dream journal, but I think I strongly feel from that you create a whole story around and this particular animal.
That's wonderful. And is there any tips that you could give us on how to connect to our dream animals or our power animals in the dream state? Is there a way we can actually connect with them in the dream?
Um, Yeah, I think one of the things in your dream state, really, we're talking about lucid dreaming because you can dream and then it's it's very much about if you want to connect with your animal in a dream state before you go to sleep, it's setting that intention. Now, whether you have created an altar for the animal, have set the intention, but really setting the intention that you're going to meet your animal in the dream state is a great way to connect and journey with them into the dream world. That's certainly one way that I would recommend doing that. And it takes a little bit of practice, I want to say, and working with well, we've just come out of the new moon energy. So working with that new moon energy, it's a real powerful intention setter, if you like. So working with that, you can connect in the dream state. And I also meant to say, folks, I just got to say, it's actually World Dragon Day today, which is really
Oh,
cool.
cool.
So that is a really, it's I tend to work with the animals within our physical realm, but it doesn't mean that you can't work with power animals that aren't part of the physical realm. So yeah, tonight would be a good night for you guys to maybe explore connecting with dragon.
Oh, wow, that's cool. Because, I've had a lot of people I've guided through clients who talk about lucid dreams where dragons show up. I've had quite a few. Um, and also I've had experiences in the past, not for a while, but like 15 years ago, had a lucid dream with dragon energy that was absolutely like, I got to say, it was mind blowing. And it was really
And I
cool.
see dreams and oracles dreamed of dragons last night. So I'm really glad. Well, dragon energy is massive. And I had a dragon connect with me in my waking state. And that was super unsettling because their energy is it's so different.
I know.
You've seriously got to anchor yourself into the heart of this planet. It's just like,
Like
whoa.
seriously, like I'll just be completely honest about my experience with this dragon dream from, like, I guess it would have been about 15 years ago. I woke up with an orgasm. It was like orgasmic. Yeah. There was nothing sexual or sensual going on in the dream at all. I was just not at all. I was just woke up with. And as I, tell people about this dreams moving forward, a lot of people tell me, like, it's the Kundalini energy, the dragon energy is Kundalini, and that is like life force energy. So yeah, it's orgasmic energy. So
It is
I always thought
indeed.
that was really like, okay, interesting.
Laurie Stoneheart says, a stone art, is it Snake has been with me for over a week? How do I? Oh, that's amazing.
Oh, within the dreams?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. The dragon has been with Lori for over a week.
Is it? I think it's a dragon. I'm not sure.
Lori,
I've had my
was it a
glasses on.
dragon? Yeah, I think that's a little dragon emoji.
Oh, that's
Um,
so cool.
yeah,
And
dragon. Well, Lori,
and
that's that energy inside. Yeah, that, let it out. Let that energy out, and or channel the dragon energy.
yeah, absolutely. And ask its name as well, because a name will really help anchor it. Sometimes they'll give their name, and you'll just and also look at it on a emotional level. Is it feminine? Is it masculine? Is it neither? Because it could be both.
That's really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, androgynous. Dragons can be androgynous. And another great person to actually connect with is Caroline Mitchell, who's just brought her Dragon Oracle cards
Oh
into
yeah.
being, so that they're being launched. Um, We also got one from Dreams and Oracles. What do you think of Jung's theory that animals in dreams represent our instincts?
Oh yeah, that's a really great question. So
Mm.
like the primal urges or primal instincts within, um,
Yeah.
so certain animals, hunting or feeling anger or feeling rage. And what do you think, Naz? Do you feel like that can translate into?
I think so. I think
Yeah.
it can translate. We dream in so many different ways. We dream in symbols. We dream in, you know, we dream of our guides. So I think that certainly does. I think they can represent our instincts. But you see, isn't that the whole thing about power animals, particularly your power animal, will have the same similar characteristics to yourself.
Yeah.
So what you see as the lion, for example, could be a reflection of what lives within you. Um, and whether you need to step into leadership, whether you need to take the lead, whether you need to draw on your courage and your inner strength. It's not, people talk about physical strength, but a lot of this is about your inner strength as well. So, there, that was a great question.
Yeah, really good. And also, if you're doing dream work, so if you're journaling and doing dream work and you're getting to know the flavors of your dreams and the energy behind dreams, it makes it easier to unpack things like animal symbols, because you might have one dream and you really sit with it to unpack it and decode it. And you feel like, yeah, definitely that panther feels very linked to my instincts. It feels very linked to what's going on in my waking life right now. I can feel some guidance from this. It feels linked to me. Or as you might have another dream where it's a lucid dream and it feels very ethereal, and there's a swan there and there's some kind of message being given to you. So that would have a different sort of relationship to the dream. So I think that there's no one way about it. I think it's multi-layered when animals come through in the dreams, so they can definitely be symbols, aspects of yourself. And I do think that they can be guides and sentient or universal knowledge coming through to help you and guide you. So we've had some more
Yeah.
questions there.
Yeah.
Dreamed about
We've
being
had,
chased by dinosaurs, sharks, spiders, and snakes. Stop running and face things chasing you in your dream, but I often wake up when they catch me. So this is a really great chance, Margate Yoga, to use these recurring themes of being chased by animals to be triggers into lucidity, so that you can become fully conscious and aware in the dream, and actually be brave to just say, as they're charging you, to say, this is a dream. I know that they can't destroy me, and just say, I'm here to hear whatever you want to tell me. What do you symbolize? And just really be with the dream. Ways that you can help yourself with lucidity with some of these animal themes is to do reality checks around some of these animals. So, for example, if you're having recurring dreams of spiders, for example, you could use the spider image as a reality check several times throughout the day. And I've helped many clients this way, where I encourage them to have an image of the animal on their phone, like as a screensaver. And every time that they see it, they do a reality check. So that's a reality check, is questioning the nature of reality in order to bring yourself into a state of awareness. And the more you do this during the day, the more chances that you have of doing this in a dream. You find yourself in a dream doing this and realizing that you're dreaming, and become lucid and able to start co-creating with the dream. So the animal image on your phone, every time you see it, you would do a little check. So you're looking at the spider and you really study the spider, really be with it in an analytical, observant kind of way, bringing all of your senses and awareness into that present moment of looking at the spider and saying, is this a dream? Is this reality? Am I dreaming right now? Here I am with the spider, look at its legs, and really analyze it and be with it. If you do that like 10 times a day throughout the day, your chances of being in a dream and then all of a sudden a spider shows up are pretty great, and your chances of becoming lucid in the dream are really great as well. And then once you're there with the spider, you can say, Okay, hey, what do you want to tell me? Show me something. Tell me something about it.
Absolutely. And it's another way to work, as you were saying, to check reality check, but also you can communicate with the spider as you're having the reality check and within your lucid dream as well, because, spider is clearly communicating with you. Um, Now, someone said, I've got to put my glasses on, folks. Sorry. Uh, Laurie Stoneheart, when does your book come out and where do I get it? Cool. Well, it's up on pre-order now. The book comes out in January. And yeah, you can get it on Amazon and Waterstones, W.H. Smith's. So yeah, it's ready for pre-order. And I'm also doing a workshop, online workshop on the 7th of November, where I'll be doing you'll learn how to meet your power animal. We'll talk about working with that power animal, and all sorts during that workshop. It's a 2-hour online workshop.
Oh, that's
And
fantastic.
yeah, well, look, guys, if you connect up with me on my Instagram, Healing with Power Animals, I'll be putting up some details there.
That's fantastic. Oh, I look forward to that. That'll be great.
Yeah, that'll be
Um,
great fun.
we had
We
some
think
other
we got more.
questions here too. If you constantly lucid dream, are you giving your subconscious time to process the day? Yeah, this is why it's so important, Smith and Son, to do dream work, to write down your dreams and to do dream work throughout your waking time. That's when you do the processing. I think the thing is when people are chasing the lucid dream too much and not doing the dream work, they miss out on the really important messages and integration that the dream is giving them. So these are basically experiences of consciousness within the dream state, and you do need to, do the work with it through the waking time. So dream journaling, dream interpretation, doing meditations, and integrating the experiences are really important. Um,
We got an interesting question from Dreams and Oracles, I think. She said, so sorry because I missed the beginning. Can you clarify, please? How can we establish which animals come as power animals and which are more archetypal or symbolic? I would actually say that they're all power animals. Yeah, they're all part of the energy of that animal. Now, power animals aren't just, they're a little bit more than archetypes. So you can look at it as an archetype, but I would also invite you to connect with it. Um, Connect with the energy of that archetype because it will give you a deeper message than the expected message of the archetype of, I don't know, bear. Clearly there's an opportunity for you to delve deeper and explore the energy, the message of that particular power animal.
That's really cool, Naz. And do you think that with these sort of dreams too, that they might hold a certain energy to them where you feel like it's a little bit more you have connected to the animal rather than a dream that might feel just like, oh, it was a symbolic message from the animal? Do they have a distinction? Do they feel
They
different?
do. You can. I can always tell when I what I call a truth dream, and there is a depth that I feel in my body or in my heart, and it's this sense of knowing that, oh, that was a message, rather than, oh, logically my mind will make logical connections with certain archetypes that I will dream about.
Mm.
But I know, for example, my snake dream, I know that's a direct message from what I call my shadow animal. And we do have shadow animals,
Oh,
and
wow.
mine is the snake. Um, so you will feel it within your body. So it's connecting with yourself emotionally. And you'll know if it's just, oh, okay, I can logically think, oh, I saw this advert about, I don't know, a dog. And now it's translated in my dream to, oh, this is unexpected. So I would go with the emotion and feeling. You will always know.
Yeah, so intuition being a big driver, your body knowing, your gut instinct knowing that it was something a bit different. And how would this is fascinating about the shadow power animals. Tell us more about that.
Well, I talk about, yeah, we have different types of animals. We have our animal guides, we have our animal guardian, the one that, and you can have more than one that who will walk with you for maybe the whole of your life or part of your life. You have your messenger animals who will, kind of fly in or swim in or whatever and just deliver their message and off they go. Um, and you have a shadow animal. So they are elements of yourself that you have rejected because you think they're bad, you're ashamed about them, you're embarrassed by them, so you push them away. Now, that your shadow animal comes up when they want you to reclaim. It's a part of the reclamation of yourself, the whole of yourself, just as you are. Um, and that's when your shadow animal shows up. And they're usually animals you might fear as well. If you have a fear, it's a recognition. Shadow is everything that we, part of it is trauma, part of it is not wanting to acknowledge, part of it is a resistance to whatever is calling up to be noticed, and it will keep on coming, it will keep on coming and get stronger and stronger and stronger, much like you and your fear of dogs and whether you had the dog dreams, because it's calling up for you to reintegrate it within the whole of yourself.
Mm.
And that to me is how I view shadow and shadow animals. And for a long time, that snake dream, I was petrified. I was frozen. I was petrified. I couldn't move. And I realized it was a part that I had to do the opposite. I had to step toward.
Mm.
So yeah, your shadow animal will show up, no doubt.
It sounds like the shadow animals can be some of our most valuable teachers, very much like nightmares that are our biggest teachers as conscious dreamers, because it's uh, really calling for you to transcend something and heal something, and that's deeply transformative as well. So it's great to be able to look at this through a different lens that, even though it might feel a little bit scary, it's something there that's going to heal us in some kind of way.
Absolutely. I think our deepest healings and some of the most, and I was thinking about this today, some of the most challenging and uncomfortable situations that we have, for me, I can only talk about me personally, that I've had in my this life, has that they have been the most powerful and the things I've learned so much more about myself. And certainly with the shadow work and with your shadow animal, yes, they are your greatest teachers. Um, and as I said, the uncomfortable situations, the conflicts you have, I'm coming to recognize that I am in relationship with everything in my world,
Mm.
and my shadow animal will show up as a mirror.
Yeah, that's really great.
Yeah.
And what do you think about Animal Mundi, the concept of the world soul? Now, there's like a really big school of thinking and thought, especially in Jungian psychology, of the collective unconscious and how we're all seemingly connected on a greater capacity to each other and perhaps experiencing a collective dream of sorts as well. And we have similar themes that weave in and out of our dream worlds as human beings. Would you extend that even to the animal kingdom, that even though, and the plant kingdom too, that the sentient beings of the planet are part of the collective unconscious as well? In other words, are we connected to animals in dreams? Are we in their dreams? Do we appear in each other's, in that sphere? because we are all connected through the anima mundi.
I think, yeah, I mean, it goes back to what I said earlier. We are all interconnected. We are all atoms of the universe, and we're all expressions of the universe. So how can we not be connected? Much as we can telepathically communicate with each other, we have, dream sharing. Just recently, me and my daughter had a dream share. We both woke up at the same time, and it was both the exact same dream, which is just wild. Um, so, too, animals, and I do strongly believe we are connected if we can build that relationship with them. If you have a pet or a cat, no doubt you are communicating with it and it communicating with you. Now, I'm not just talking about the usual physical stuff. I'm talking about the mental messages. You might miss them, but we're all animal communicators at the end of the day. We just maybe haven't exercised that muscle. We can communicate with plants communicate with us. Isn't this how our ancestors recognized what they could what they can eat and what was healing? So yeah, I'm a great believer with the Animal Monday that yeah, we are certainly all part of this weave, this web.
I love it too because I really do think animals dream, and I know that there's not a lot of studies about that. I guess it's not of great interest to scientists to look into whether or not animals dream. But you can certainly see it with a lot of like dogs kicking while they're sleeping, and even there was some footage last year of an octopus which would they did do a little bit of a study, and they could see that perhaps the octopus was having a dream
Of
because
course.
its skin and its colors were lighting up and changing as though it was probably having a dream about trying to run away or swim away from a predator. So it really shocked everyone and made them think, oh my God, I think animals might dream. And of course, I'm sitting there going, duh, yeah, I think so. Of course, right? I mean, if you have a consciousness and a brain, you probably process and you probably experiencing things as you sleep as well. There's a really great documentary out at the moment on Netflix called My Octopus Teacher. Have you seen that?
No, but it's on my to watch
Oh,
list.
everyone, I totally recommend it. It does make you completely change your view of the relationship between us and animals. And it's a wonderful narrative. I highly recommend it. It's fantastic. But I mean, octopus are incredible beings, aren't they anyway? But yeah, so I think that I do think that as well, that we're connective collectively through the unconscious collective, and that perhaps the animals are part of that as well.
I definitely, I don't know if, as I said to you, if you have a pet, they are communicating with you, tel telepathically. I mean, I've had experience of this. So, I remember once just, I'd gone to a friend's house. They had a golden retriever. I was there stroking this golden retriever, stroking over a particular eye, and I kept on getting, yeah, my eye's really bad, and this chatter. And I just looked up and I said, and you couldn't see anything physically wrong with the eye. It looked perfect. And so I just said, oh, there's something wrong with her eye. And they said, oh, yeah, she was going to be a guide dog, but they found a defect in her eye, which you can't see. You'd need an x-ray to see. So they do talk to you. Some of them are chattier than others.
Yeah.
But that's when I realized, like, oh, wow, I can communicate. They communicate.
Yeah, fantastic. Oh, it's wonderful. Hey, look, we've got 50 seconds left of our call before we get disconnected. So I just want to say to everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Please check out Naz's book when it comes out. You can follow her in the links below I'll provide, and you can start following her when her book comes out. You can check her out. And then also your workshop coming up on the
7th of November.
yeah.
So yeah, if I'll put details into the Instagram.
Yes.
Um, And yeah, you just have to click on the link and you will get, and it's a free workshop, by the way, as well. So it's 2 hours free. We're going to do a power animal meditation and talk more about power animals and how you can work and connect with them. So thank you
Fantastic.
so much, Tree. It's been such a joy.
It's been a joy. Thank you, everyone. Hope to see you next time
Thanks,
in
everyone.
conversations.
Bye.
Bye.